I should be dead right now. Doctors say that only 1% of people even survive what kind of cancer I have, but little did they know, that was all I needed. My name is Tricia Wonderly, and this is my story. ...2022 hit, and because it was after COVID and I had some bronchial issues, I had a cough that wasn't going away. They checked, my lungs had something in them, they weren't sure what it was, and they said, if your pulse starts racing or if your oxygen saturation gets really low without any particular reason, you need to get to the ER right away because it could be a pulmonary embolism. I'm a dental hygienist by trade, and the next very morning I was cleaning a gentleman's teeth, and you have a mask on, and under the mask I was just struggling to breathe a little bit. So immediately we called the squad and took me to the emergency room. So that afternoon I went to the doctor, I had a PET scan, and the doctor said, Tricia, your results are back and it doesn't look good. Your cancer is back, but it's not just in your lungs, it's in your bones, it's in your liver. It's stage 4 and you're terminal. And that's just not what you want to ever hear, and it certainly wasn't what I was expecting. So I was just struggling to breathe with the cancer cells filling in my lungs. And I remembered Dr. Sudhindra was her name. She looked at me and she said, Tricia, what are your goals? Now, by this time, I already knew that my former oncologist had told me I had a 3 to 5 year prognosis. So she said, what are your goals? I said, my goals are to see my first grandchild born. My daughter was due with my first grandbaby. And I've fallen in love with mountain biking, and I wanted to get back on my mountain bike again. I'm a person who's pretty vibrant and pretty active and not one to be taken down. And to be told that every 3 weeks I'd have to go back and get treatment was a lot to take in. It's a whole change of your entire life. I made some really major changes. Not that I wasn't eating healthy and I wasn't trying to exercise, but I needed to take it to a whole new level. And my sister was telling me about somebody that she had heard about that promoted whole food, plant-based lifestyle of eating. For me, this was something I was going to embrace. And then my sister called and she said, Tricia, there's a lady who had lung cancer who is all this whole food plant-based, and she just did a video showing how she was able to get her lung cancer completely under control and healed. And I thought, wow, I would love to meet her. I reached out to her and found out that she only lived 30 minutes away from me. So I invited her down to my house. She asked if she could pray with me, and I'm like, yeah, of course you can pray with me. Now at this time, because of the cancer really filling in my lungs, I was really struggling to have my oxygen very much in a normal range. It was pretty much between 88 and 94%, even with oxygen. I sat down and she laid her hand on me. I felt like God was saying, Tricia, take your oxygen off. You don't need it anymore. So I took off my oxygen, but I kept my pulse oximeter on so I could see what my oxygen levels were. As Kelly was praying, my oxygen, it went up to 98. Without oxygen. It was just amazing. It's like, okay, something just happened here. That was a miracle. It didn't make any sense other than just a miracle. So I was really grateful, obviously. And then I remember the day that I got to get on my mountain bike again. And I called my friend Brenda, my gratitude friend, and I just said, Brenda, you'll never believe where I am. I'm always looking for something new to work within my very restrictive whole food plant-based eating choices. I saw an ad pop up on my feed, and it was the Conscious Bar. And I looked at it and it was like, organic dates, organic cacao. And so I get to go on wilderness camping trips with my husband up in Canada. And I always like to have a treat and take chocolate with me. I thought I can take these guys, they are gonna work. And so I ordered a bunch of them and took them to Canada. And when I got home from my wilderness camping trip, I saw this email come through, and it was from the Conscious Bar Company. And it just didn't feel like a regular AI generated or generic email. It felt very authentic, and it felt like somebody really sat down and thought about this. And I thought, well, I'm gonna respond back, and I'm gonna tell them my story and tell them why I'm so grateful that they have a chocolate bar that I can eat and feel really good about, even if I have stage 4 cancer, because there's nothing in it that's gonna hurt me. So I got a hold of one of the marketing directors there, and the next thing I know, I have a connection with this gentleman, Mauro. He's a special guy. He was so authentic and genuine, and I thought, this isn't just some generic company. These are real people making something very, very intentional for people like me to be able to consume and enjoy. I love the fact that we connected on a personal level, that I now get to come down to Miami and actually meet the people that are behind the bar. And it's like, what a treat. Double treat. Chocolate and Mauro.